It's the end of the day with Ray. Hello, my friends. Hey, I wanted to reach out to my good friend Ed McLaughlin. A lot of you know Ed. You know he's been in the industry for over 4 decades. My friends, we are obviously in some times of turbulence inside the imaging channel and all the aspects around the imaging channel. And I thought it would be a great idea to call up Ed and just let's let Ed talk to us. You know, he's been around for a long time. He's probably seen some similar situations, probably nothing quite like this, but let's join us in a conversation. You know, Ed, how are you doing, my friend?
Doing very, very well, thanks. I was going to wear my surgical mask today, but I decided that I'd take it off and didn't want anyone to know I have it.
Well,
Happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody. I was going to bring my whiskey in, but the John Powers is open in the other room. You can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning. So.
Well, you're right about that, and it is St. Patty's Day. There's a whole lot of festivals that kind of got a little shook up over that, but you know, we'll get our St. Patty's Day come. Might be a little bit late, but it'll come. You know. So,
well, the first thing I have to say about this whole environment, it doesn't matter what you believe, whether you believe this is an overreaction, an underreaction, if it's the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do, regardless of that, this is happening. Mm-hmm. And it is absolutely going to be a catalyst to change a lot of things, the way people behave going forward. And, you know, you mentioned earlier, have I ever seen anything like this before? Not at this scale. I mean, I have to say, to have this kind of a shutdown in the economy, I've never seen anything like it. Even 9/11 doesn't compare to this. We shut the airlines down, but now we're shutting everything down. And people aren't going to school. Kids are at home. Many of them think it's a holiday. People are working at home. They may like working at home, but they may not like working at home with their kids climbing all over the place. So it's going to be a lot of pluses and minuses that are going to go on. One thing for sure that's going to be happening, though, we need to get our costs under control.
Absolutely.
If your costs are not under control now, they better get under control. Look at all the data that you have available to you and look at it with an objective eye, because quite frankly, this is going to have an impact on your costs like never before.
No.
So if you're using Nextera or BEI, dig it out. If you haven't looked at it, start looking at it and insist that you start to use it. And you really need to get an understanding of where you are in terms of your costs.
Well, I think I was talking to
change.
I was talking to Wes.
It's going to have an impact as to how well you weather the storm.
Yeah, I was talking to Wes, and I believe he's putting together some webinars to help people navigate through some of the data. So we'll look forward to some of those. You'll probably be on 1 or 2 of those. But you know, I would say that the thing that I wrote about it on Sunday is that I really believe this just accelerated the digitalization of the SMB community.
There's no question about it. As I said, there's going to be pluses and minuses coming out of this. I relayed in the earlier conversation with you. I relayed the story that someone was trying to get me to sign something via DocuSign. Their server was overloaded with their DocuSign documents, and they just couldn't get them out fast enough. So we're learning what can go wrong with the overpressure that's going to be on some of these digital processes and platforms. But at the same time, we're going to be introducing this process to a whole lot of new people.
Absolutely.
That are going to find a better way to do things. And every time that catalyst occurs, it creates a permanent change in the behavior.
Yep.
We saw it in 2008, 2007, 2008, when things started to change, and we saw processes change and become automated permanently as a consequence of that. Print had an impact. It had an impact on print. This probably will too. Will it be immediate? During the shutdown, for sure, it's going to be immediate. After it's over, will there be a groundswell? There'll be a groundswell of a lot of things. I'm not sure there's going to be a groundswell of more pages being printed. There may be more pages being printed during this shutdown to a lesser degree, but we may see the print continues because people will look for workarounds based upon the problems that they're running into with some of the automation. But the minute that automation catches up and the people in that environment, the software environment, they know that they've got to solve these problems, and they're going to be resolved, and they'll probably be resolved during the shutdown period. We've never seen an entire state shut down. But for example, in the state of New Jersey, which used to be my adjacent state, everybody thought I lived there, but it was it's shut down from 8 o'clock at night till 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
There's actually a curfew for the entire state. And fortunately, I'm not up north anymore because they shut down all the bars on St. Patrick's Day. What a terrible thing to do
Yeah,
for an
pretty
Irish person. But but I don't need a bar to have a drink, so it's okay.
There you go. You can do that remote.
I can do that remote and do it well.
There you go. A lot safer too. Ed, let me ask you a question. Let's just hypothetically, put yourself in a dealer owner's hat, and obviously, a larger dealer. I mean, the smaller dealers, they're going to deal with it a whole lot different than some of these larger dealerships. But let's say you got 100 salespeople that are all of a sudden they're at home. Obviously, you don't want your salespeople calling up customers and asking about their lease payments or workflows. They're just going to hang the phone up on you.
There's something more important to say than
absolutely.
that.
So, what do you do? What would you suggest, or what would you be doing with the time for those reps, or even the senior executives? I mean, it seems to me that we've opened the door up, that maybe we ought to start looking in places we never looked before. Maybe we ought to have teams looking online at how we're being defeated in our own industry so we can understand it more. But, what would you suggest these dealers?
Well, it's a good time to get a handle on your business in general. And it all depends on your business and what your priorities are. But certainly looking at other opportunities, looking for other ways that you can penetrate. Just talking to your customers and see if there's anything I can do to help you. What can I do? You may get some odd requests, but it's a good time to be in contact with people. But looking for lease renewals, no, it's probably not the right step to take. Yeah. I think people will be offended by those kind of moves. But certainly looking for ways to reach out and to help your customers, to ease some of the pressure that they're under. If there are any problems they're running into that you maybe have the expertise to help them through, this is a good time to do that. Yeah. And I'm very much a capitalist at heart. I don't want to just sound like a bleeding heart, like, just do it for the good of everybody. Yes, you do it for the good of people. You do it as a benefit so that you can make some money doing it. But you may find new services that are going to be of interest to someone long term as a consequence of doing this. Yep. I always hated when I heard this comment before. It was I can't forget the guy. I forget the guy's name now. His brother was a doctor. He was part of the Clinton administration. You should never leave a good catastrophe to waste. Take advantage of every catastrophe that occurs. And quite frankly, there's some validity in what he says.
Sure. Well, it's opportunity.
There's opportunity in every dark moment. And this certainly is not a good moment in our history. I mean, the economic impact of this will not be insignificant. I mean, we just put the bloody country, basically the wheels stopped. And we say, no, they haven't. People are still working at home. Yes, they are, but I don't know what percentage of the workforce that is, but we're 80% of services industry. And those people that work on tips and hourly wages, they're not working right now.
No.
That's going to affect consumer confidence. That's going to affect the way people spend their money.
Absolutely.
And if we don't think that's going to have an impact on behavior, we're crazy.
Yeah, no, it will. I
it
agree.
will have an impact on behavior.
Well, a lot of times innovation is born from these opportunities.
Absolutely. And there's going to be opportunity coming from this. And, from a financial standpoint, all the things are in place to just take off once everything starts over again. But there will be an impact and a drag for a while before that occurs. There has been in every other time, and there's never been anything quite like this at all, that I can recall anyway.
No.
And as you said, I've been around for over 4 decades in this industry. I don't even want to think about it. I stopped adding out a long time ago, but I actually entered the business industry in 1969. So you put the arithmetic to it.
Yeah, long time ago.
It's a long time ago. I've been around a long time, and I've seen a lot of different things occur. This is unusual. But
it's the first time
that we learn from each one, while they may not be at the same degree, is that there has been significant inflection points and changes occur each time something like this happens.
Well, I think it's the very first time that we've lost. We're gonna lose some annuity revenue and the hardware revenue at the same time.
Well, this is why I say you really need to get your costs under control. If you've taken them for granted in the past, get real serious about them now. I mean, I've had the opportunity to look in at some of the statistics, and quite frankly, I I don't know that there's, even the best of us have a lot of waste out there. And the high margins that we are blessed with, quite frankly, hide a lot of flaws in our management style. We need to get our arms around it and get it straightened out. And there couldn't be a better time to do it right now.
And I guess you're available if a dealer owner wants to holler at Ed, you can call him up.
I'm always available. And people, I mean, almost everybody out there has my cell phone number and email address. And if you don't, by the way, I'm one of those guys that is crazy enough to put my cell phone number on my LinkedIn contact. So
there you go.
If you need to call me or talk to me, pick up the phone. I'm always available and willing to talk.
Well, Ed, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us about this. I know the industry needs some healing. Obviously, we need some leadership in the industry, and you're one of those leaders, so we appreciate that.
You know what, Ray, and I've heard you talk a lot about this. There is some leadership, and there's some companies that are well positioned to take advantage of a lot of this sort of thing. I mean, I'm gonna defer a little bit to my alma mater company, Sharp. I mean, they're into these net meetings and things like that. And I'm not necessarily plugging Sharp, but everybody has something that they bring to the table. But those sorts of things really need to move to the front. And if you have access to those capabilities and you haven't really taken them to the market because they didn't fit your comp plan or whatever the case might be, latch onto those technologies now and utilize them to help drive you into a whole different way of communicating.
No, I agree. It is a new day, so there should be a new way.
These kind of meetings that we're having right now, they've actually been available for probably a good 15 years, but not really utilized the way that we're utilizing them now. This is going to accelerate even more.
No, I agree. Well, I look forward to talking to you again, Ed. I see you back there in your new house, your new den. How's the weather going? Everything going good for you?
The weather's beautiful. I'm going to play golf tomorrow, but there's no quarantine on our golf course down here. We'll be at 70 degrees, so viruses don't spread well there. And all you warm weather climates, don't forget, viruses don't do well in hot weather, so get out there and have a good time.
All right, my friend. I'll end this like I always do. Status quo is the killer of all that'll be invented. Don't get stuck in status quo.
Don't get stuck there.
Thanks, my friend. Bye-bye.